Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Noah Hawley, the creator of Alien Earth, has been talking about Season 2 and as far ahead as Season 3 and why it was his key reason for ending Season 1 on such a massive cliffhanger. Almost none of the major storylines were resolved, and there were so many questions. This is also probably one of the biggest complaints about the finale, is that it didn't answer any big questions, but I think they wrote it this way because they knew they would be getting a Season 2, because why would you do it otherwise? So we'll break down everything he's confirmed about Season 2 so far, everything we know in my top 10 WTF predictions. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos, because we do have Predator Badlands coming out later this year. I'll be doing videos for that, as well as the Alien Romulus sequel, which will be coming out in the next couple of years. But Wendy, the hybrids, Boy Cavalier, Kirsch, Morrow, Adam, Yutani, the two Xenomorphs, all the other eggs, which are still very much active, intact, and the other alien specimens, all 5 of them still alive, will all return, and Season 2 will continue their story. There were a lot of questions when the series started as to whether or not it would turn into an anthology. Noah Hawley specifically talked about continuing these characters' story, confirming it would work more like his Legion TV show, his X-Men TV show, where it's a regular series format, season to season, but there are time jumps. When he talked about a time jump, what he meant was they wouldn't start Season 2, Episode 1 with Yutani's strike on Neverland Island, where they show Wendy and the other hybrids dealing with that after having just captured Boy Cavalier, Morrow, and taken over the island. So if they do show Yutani's strike on the island, it would be in flashbacks the way they did with the Maginot during Season 1. Number 2, he did imply that Wendy and the hybrids, with the help of the pet Xenomorphs, would defeat Yutani. Yutani would not be successful in capturing the Xenomorphs because they're still trying to get one later in the timeline by the events of the first Alien movie, which isn't that long after this series takes place. And when Season 2, Episode 1 picks up, Noah Hawley said he's more interested in showing how Boy Cavalier works himself out of this situation that he's got himself in and turns the tables on Wendy and the hybrids again, implying that he will at some point. Number 3, one of the other major concepts he said he's focusing on with the hybrids going forward is how their humanity starts to affect them while they're continuing to evolve in a post-finale Neverland Island. All this still implies that they're still on the island for at least part of Season 2. And how all the hybrids are not going to always be on the same page, even though they end the finale, according to him and the other producers, thinking of Wendy as their leader figure. If we're talking about the Lost Boys, Peter Pan metaphors, she's still the Wendy of the group, metaphorically and literally, the person that they all listen to. But he's actually making it sound like there's slowly going to be more dissent in the ranks, possible betrayals, and civil war amongst the hybrids further down the road. And the idea that all the hybrids, in succumbing to a lot of their human emotions, the human side of themselves peeking out, begin to fracture as a solid group unit and all moving together. He also said specifically the final moment with Wendy's line about how Boy Cavalier turned into the father that he had hated so much. They wanted to show, if it wasn't clear, that the hybrids had just done the exact same thing that Boy Cavalier did to his own father. So it sounds like he's showing that the hybrids at the beginning of Season 2 are beginning to make the same mistakes that Boy Cavalier did, which is the beginning of their downfall as well. Which he also said, Noah Hawley said, Boy Cavalier realized in this finale moment, and it's part of the reason why he was laughing. Like, oh, he suddenly realized the irony of the situation. You're doing the exact same thing that I did, and he's going to use that against them. Number 4, when it comes to Eyeball Creature and Arthur, probably one of the MVPs of the series, Eyeball Creature, he actually said everyone making the show loved David, the actor who played Arthur, and loved having an excuse to bring him back for Season 2. There are a lot of questions about how much Eyeball could do with his body since it already been dead for a decent amount of time. Medically, that does have a serious effect on your brain, as well as the circumstances of Arthur's death and the way that his throat, his vocal cords would have been decomposing in the water like that. So can Eyeball Creature use him to speak normally like a human? What would that actually sound like if his body had been decomposing, his vocal cords had been decomposing? Does it now have access to all the information in Arthur's brain about the island systems, the rest of the world? Because Arthur had 6 degrees, he was already extremely smart. He was also a key figure in working on the hybrids, so now Eyeball Creature theoretically would know how the hybrids all work. We actually saw what it looked like when Eyeball Creature tried to use Shmuel to speak to the Xenomorph on the Maginot. He was able to make the clicking sounds using Shmuel's throat in the Xenomorph's language, but they didn't have him speak English normally. I think they'll also make it a little bit easier for themselves in that they'll hold way back on having zombie puppet Arthur speak a lot. If he does, it'll be simple one-word responses or commands or requests, like he won't just start giving big soliloquies. And they'll probably just show Eyeball Creature trying to take control of the island systems and use it to get around and escape eventually. What is Eyeball Creature's endgame? What is his reason for wanting Arthur's more capable body? Not that Sheep Eyeball was not terrifying. I think it's actually pretty simple. I think what they're implying is that it wants to escape the island at least. Now that it knows what Arthur knows, it also knows about present-day Earth. It would probably try to take a more intact host body or jump to another body as it needs to, as it starts to use up Arthur's body, and just go hide out somewhere else on Earth, because Earth has all the resources that it would need. Here's another big thing that they teased during the series but never really explained, is the planet that they found Eyeball Creature on. What was that like? Was it a much more dangerous place? I think they're implying that Earth is a better place in general than whatever planet they found it on, so it would probably try to stay on Earth. Number 6, Morrow still wants to kill Boy Cavalier and Kirsch, but mostly Boy Cavalier. He just really hates Kirsch. He was also basically telling Slightly that this all isn't over, and they never showed Slightly removing the communications device from his body, so it is possible Morrow can still speak with him, but will just continue to try and take advantage of Slightly to escape, then continue his goal of killing Boy Cavalier, destroying Kirsch, and taking one of the eggs now, because by the time Season 2 picks up, that second Xenomorph that he was trying to steal would have also probably already matured to full size, and would just be way too much trouble to try and capture and bring with him. Way easier to just grab one of the other intact eggs and create another Xenomorph inside a Yutani lab. Number 7, also a real big one, we start Season 2 with 2 fully matured Xenomorphs who apparently are Wendy's pets, but I think the way Noah Hawley said that the hybrids are all slowly going to start coming to odds with each other and making mistakes because their humanity will start peeking through. Wendy also probably won't always be able to 100% control the Xenomorphs in the way that people who own large exotic pets like tigers were not always able to control them. Eventually, nature wins over nurture, like there's this primal programming that just wins out in them, and tigers will do whatever they want, usually hurting a ton of people. So think about how that would manifest with the Xenomorphs, killing a ton of people just because they want to. Number 8, as Wendy's powers evolve, she will probably develop the Dr. Manhattan problem. Dr. Manhattan was a human who gained godlike powers, but as he continued learning how to use his powers, he slowly began to lose his humanity, caring less and less about it until eventually he just effed off to create his own universe. Wendy was already exhibiting some of this during the Season 1 finale, where she doesn't think of herself as the original Marcy anymore, but she currently still cares about her brother like the original Marcy did. What happens when she stops caring about humanity? I think eventually the bond with her brother will start to fracture a little and push Wendy in more of an antagonistic direction, or threaten to make her one if the series continues longer than 2 seasons. You remember, there'd only be 8 episodes into Season 2, so there's not that much time. Number 9, all the specimens, all 5 of them, are still intact. We've already seen the Bug Creature can eat the hybrids and the synths. Bug Creature will probably claim at least 1 more or even 2 hybrids. Not all of the hybrids will survive Season 2. When we're talking about Kirsch, though, because he's a regular synth, I think Noah Hawley wants to keep Timothy Olyphant around on the show as long as possible because he is one of the best actors that they have. Like, he's one of the big sells of the series. So I think Kirsch also survives Season 2, but for plot reasons. They will probably just magically repair him in the time between Season 1 and Season 2, the way they magically fix Nibs between episodes 7 and 8. Speaking of which, Nibs also a really good example of the hybrids all just kind of going off the rails slowly as their humanity peaks out, or non-humanity, like basically Nibs pushing more in a Xenomorph kind of direction. She looked like an absolute animal in that finale. You have to imagine her body count the minute that Yutani's troops hit the ground is going to be super, super high. In number 10, we will learn more about Weyland Yutani's developing bioweapons division, like their side of things internally, and the other 3 corporations on Earth. Season 1 did a lot of world building inside the Alien franchise, but there were a ton of details they just mentioned briefly then never bothered to explain. One of the reasons for this, I think, is that Disney and FX told Noah Hawley when he was making the Alien Earth series to create something with tendrils, in that they could develop spin-offs from this if they wanted, or things that they never intended on addressing in the Alien movies or the Predator movies. So if it felt like the show gave some Iron Man 2 vibes in the way that it set up all these other things without really paying them off, that's probably why. Everybody let me know in the comments what kind of spin-offs you would want to see from something like this. But remember, since this is an Alien Xenomorph based show, like it's called Alien Earth, Anything you do would have to have a way of involving either the Xenomorphs or the Yautja, the Predator's race in some way, and be localized to Earth. You can all let me know if they actually did a Predator series, what would you want that to be as well, assuming that it's off on its own doing its own thing. Right now, the next big thing in the Alien canon is the Alien Romulus sequel. Fede Alvarez has only said it's going to continue to be more of a self-contained Alien-only story in the way that Alien Romulus was. There won't be any big Predator crossover or Alien Earth crossover or anything like that. Then there's Predator Badlands. Dan Trachtenberg also said there is Alien canon crossover in the Weyland Yutani storyline, Elle Fanning's Synth character, but there aren't any Xenomorphs that are going to appear in the movie, so it's a very light crossover. If they ever work up to an actual Alien vs. Predator movie with like Xenomorph vs. Predator, that probably wouldn't happen for a very long time. Typically, they only pull stunts like that when the franchises both stall out and lose a lot of steam, and they need a much bigger spectacle. And right now, it seems like the Alien movies, like Alien Romulus, did solid. In the Predator movies so far, like the new Prey movie that Dan Trachtenberg just did, was received very well. So it doesn't seem like they need to do something like that anytime soon. As of me posting this video right now, Noah Hawley's comments mentioned 3 seasons, but it sounds like Disney and FX told him to write the series as a multi-season arc, but they still need to officially greenlight season 2, which they might have done quietly behind the scenes, but it will be at least 2027, maybe even 2028 before we actually see it, so it could actually be 3 years before we get season 2, which absolutely blows. I will start doing more videos for the Alien Romulus sequel when we actually start getting some footage for that, and more Predator Badlands videos as we get closer to that movie coming out. So everybody click here for all my Alien Earth episodes, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.